I have been telling you guys for many months now that 2024 was going to be the year of the everything bull run. But that was just speculation. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we have all the confirmations, all the signals are flashing that yes, we are definitely going into an everything bull run. And that means that crypto and Bitcoin are going to outperform every other asset. And we are in for the bull run that you have never seen before. All right, guys, if you're excited to learn why I'm so optimistic, let's dive into it. All right, guys, like the video if you haven't already, subscribe. My name is Kyle Chassé. My goal here is to make sure that you guys are well educated so that you can make life-changing gains in this upcoming super cycle that we just confirmed. All right, let's get into it. So the Copolesi letter, which we referred to quite a bit, says, for the first time since the Fed started raising rates, Chair Powell is saying everything the market wants to hear. The Fed is signaling that rates have peaked, cuts are coming, and a soft landing is coming as well. Meanwhile, the S&P 500 is on track for its 9th green day out of the last 10. This, of course, is contingent on inflation data continuing to move in the right direction. Let's hope the Fed isn't running a victory lap too soon. All right, and this is what everyone has been referring to. We're just going to watch a small clip where Jerome Powell basically flipped the markets hyper bullish, taking a dovish stance on the future economy here.
Chair Powell, you've argued over the last year that policy tightening started before you actually lifted off because the market anticipated your moves and tightened on your behalf. The market is now easing policy on your behalf by anticipating a funds rate by next September that's a full point below the current level with cuts beginning around March. Is this something that you are broadly comfortable with?
So this last year has been remarkable for the sort of seesaw thing back and forth we've had over the course of the year of markets moving away and moving back and that kind of thing. So, and what I would just say is that we focus on what we have to do and how we need to use our tools to achieve our goals. And that's what we really focus on. And people are going to have different forecasts about the economy. And those are going to show up in market conditions or they won't, but in any case, we have to do what we think is right. And, in the long run, it's important that financial conditions become aligned or are aligned with what we're trying to accomplish. And in the long run, they will be, of course, because we will do what it takes to get to our goals.
Which is basically pump the economy for the presidential election. And guys, if that made no sense to you, don't feel bad. Like if I was just watching that and then I had to make a bet after that what the hell he was talking about, I would have known. But what we do know is the markets responded immediately after that, crushing any doubts that anybody had that we were going up only for the next year or two, certainly for the next year. So if you guys see this, if you've been watching my channel for a while, congratulations. You know that I've been talking about this exact same thing happening here. Blackrock confirms 2024 Bitcoin bull run, but on the title, Everything Bull Run. In this video, which it says a month ago, but it's probably about 2 months ago, I talk about and predicted exactly what was going to happen here. And that's why you probably know that I've been so bullish for so long. But if you knew where to look, the writing was on the wall. So if you're new to the channel, don't worry. I plan on continuing to bring alpha like this that hopefully gives you foresight into what's going on in the market many, many months ahead of when you actually need to know about it. So, but we were positioning heavily, during this time, knowing what was moving ahead. So, again, breaking interest rate futures shift to showing a 57% chance of rate cuts beginning in March, which is what the reporter asked. Markets also see growing 9% chance of rate cuts happening even sooner or next month. Futures are projecting a total of 5 rate cuts in 2024. There's a 20% chance of 6 cuts and an 11% chance of 7 cuts in 2024. Meanwhile, the Fed just said they see just 3 rate cuts in 2024. Markets are still fighting the Fed. So this article says, BlackRock, Fed interest rate pause, a green light for investors. What you really need to know is Jeffrey Rosenberg, a systemic multi-strategy fund portfolio manager at BlackRock, says that the Fed's decision to not raise interest rates Wednesday marks a green light for investors. According to Rosenberg, the Fed is very happy with what they've seen And you can't really fight this until there's some kind of fundamental data from the economy side that pushes back. So, the Fed's goal is to get the interest rates 2%. We're pretty close. I think CPI is 3%. I think at this point they believe that with no further rate cuts, the way the economy is heading, that this interest rate will come back into something that is tolerable. I think in other episodes I've heard them say that they would like to get between 2 and 3%. So I think they're quite happy where it's at, hence why we didn't get a rate cut today. However, we are likely to get a rate cut in the next 4 or 5 months. And when that happens, you better believe that everyone knows it's a green light. I mean, already we have here a green light, but that's just going to send markets even higher. And you guys will see a show that I did with Rand too, where he told me he had a put because on Bitcoin, expecting just in case bad things happen, and then I couldn't help to laugh on this one, this little mock-up of this magazine. Fuck your puts. Dovish Powell presser as Dow Jones just broke all-time highs. NASDAQ also, guys, new all-time highs. So we've got Dow Jones and NASDAQ all-time highs forever, not yearly all-time highs, the highest they literally have ever been. And this is just getting going. Poor, what's his name? Michael Burry, right? Poor guy, he had all those horses betting for that to collapse, but it never happened. If anyone says that we're in a bear market, then tell them that SPX is 4% away from all-time highs. I think it's even lower right now. I had the chart pulled up here, but I think it's like less than 1%. This was from yesterday, and I think right now the chart is about 1% away from all-time highs. So Income Shark says, if that's the end of the Fed rate hikes and people are not afraid of a recession, we could see trillions return to the stock markets in 2024. And we know that a bullish stock market is also very, very bullish crypto. This has always coincided in that respect. I was interested to see when a decoupling happens, but if it doesn't matter, if markets are going up and there's money there's money printers being turned on and rate cuts happening, this is good for every market, and including our beloved Bitcoin and our even more beloved, well, from a profits perspective, altcoins. Okay, now we need to hear what this new interview with Gary is all about.
Market. So what is for the treasury market? So what is your question about Bitcoin?
We have seen in recent days.
So you guys remember The Simpsons? Like I saw this meme the other day with Gensler's face next to Mr. Burns from The Simpsons, and literally now every time I look at him, I cannot get that out of my head. He just looks like Mr. Burns from The Simpsons, right? The evil boss.
Staff engaging with issuers, of a number of which have filed for spot ETFs. We've seen a number of amendments to those filings. It seems that market participants in crypto have a sense that we are reaching the end stages here. Typically, is this kind of engagement with the SEC not prejudging anyone filing, but the level of engagement we are seeing signifying of things getting easier, closer to resolving, or things getting more difficult?
Again, we have, I think, somewhere between 8 and a dozen filings in front of this agency with regard to exchange-traded products around Bitcoin. And the staff of the various divisions respond when market participants have filings. We also had a court case earlier this fall in this regard, and so we do things according to our authorities and how courts interpret our authorities, and that's what we'll do here as well.
I think you're referring there to the grayscale case. Just one final question.
Bam! So like this is brand new, guys. This is Gary Gensler literally coming in without saying, he's telling you what he's telling you without telling you. And, he says basically that, yeah, I mean, it's not true. Like in the past when you had filings, they don't deal, like the video yesterday, there's way more conversations happening right now than has ever happened before. And this is why everyone's so bullish, because there's all these conversations happening. We'll get into this in just a second. But what he says there at the end is critical. And this is why, if I was Eric Balchunas and James Seyffart from Bloomberg's ETF, I would be raising my odds from 90% right now to 95, 96%, right? Critical, super bullish. Yeah, another signal. Rate cuts, inflation under control, will be money printing, ETF, the halving, which I didn't include in this video, but the halving in April. We're getting to the point, people getting mad at James and Eric at 90% odds aren't high enough. when for most of the year, people were yelling at them for having it too high. And I'm here for it, legends. And yeah, so I mean, you guys, if you haven't seen my episode with James, it's very, very good, very, very telling. I'll link it in the description below. Make sure after you watch this video to go check that out. It's very, very... Okay, so now we have Michael Saylor. He says the FASB has officially adopted fair value accounting for Bitcoin for fiscal years beginning after December 15th, 2024. This upgrade to accounting standards will facilitate the adoption of Bitcoin as a treasury reserve asset by corporations worldwide. Now, this is massive, ladies and gentlemen. You have to understand what this means. Essentially, what he's saying is like, you don't want, if you're a corporation, you don't want to, you got a large cash reserve. Let's say that you have 500 million, a billion, $10 billion sitting there in cash. Well, if it's dirty fiat, it's losing like 10, 15% a year in purchasing power. So why would you want to do that when you know there's a super scarce asset called Bitcoin that you can hold on your balance sheet instead of that dirty, filthy fiat? So this is going to be huge. So we have this amazing year lineup ahead. So far, we know that ETF coming in January. We've got ETF starting trading in February or March. We got the halving in April, rate cuts happening in March, rate cuts happening multiple times throughout the rest of the year. And we'll get to what else is coming as well. But signal, flashing. It is a bull run, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so now we have also, so we know that Fed pivot, China liquidity support, I'll get into that in a second, spot ETF, and the Bitcoin halving, as I just mentioned. China is already injecting a bunch of liquidity into the ecosystem. Stimulus, print. Good for us, good for the markets. They're going to buy Bitcoin, of course. You see Hong Kong. Hong Kong is working on their own ETF. And so Chris Berdinsky says, from time to time, it re-dawns on me. In the long run, few of us are bullish enough. I know this guy is bullish enough. I know that if you guys are watching my channel for a long time, I know that you are bullish enough because we are deep in the markets. We know what's going on, right? We've known this for many months. But it's just time that everyone's catching up to us. So pat on the back over here, ladies and gentlemen. Give yourself a pat on the back. Like the video if you haven't already. Hayes says, at this point, there's no excuse to not be long crypto. How many more times must I tell you that the fiat in your pocket is filthy piece of trash? Believe in the Lord and he shall set you free. Bitcoin equals $1 million. Yahtzee. Now, I think that people like Hayes and myself all believe, Saylor, everyone, we all believe that Bitcoin's going to be worth more than $1 million one day, right? And we don't say that because people just think that that's way too insane. But if you've been in this space for as long as I have and you understand what's going on, as a world reserve asset that every country, every government, every bank, every corporation will hold Bitcoin, and when you pair it with the US dollar, which is debasing and inflating, and every dollar every year is becoming less valuable, yes, in 10, 15 years, Bitcoin should be $5 or $10 million. So is it a deal right now at 43? Hell yeah. Okay, so Injective, I just want to, Injective isn't pumping. And this like meme coin or whatever, this one that just launched that we talked about the other day is also pumping. Helix, I think it's called or something. Or no, it launched on Helix. But at 3.16 billion, is it a good buy? Well, I think Injective is important to understand. Why? Because they're trying to build the DeFi blockchain, right? And Ethereum's too slow, quite risky, built in Solidity, not Rust, or Cosm Wasm. I don't even know what Injective is built in, but I think Cosm Wasm, a more secure framework for DeFi. And I got Rupert back here, pissed. He wants to go to bed. So, you hear this? I don't know if he's a bullish or on what Injective. But anyway, so they're trying to make the DeFi layer 1 blockchain. And that's important because DeFi is the largest, most valuable sector in the crypto space, where there will be trillions of dollars in it one day. And so if you create the layer 1 where all DeFi exists onto, now that's a very ambitious thing considering we have, and I don't think Solana is going to be the DeFi chain. I don't think it's going to be. But if you understand that trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars are coming into crypto, and I'm not talking about utility tokens and like meme coins and stuff. I'm talking about real world assets, tokenized securities, tokenized commodities, tokenized equities, tokenized bonds, tokenized stocks, tokenized real estate. All this stuff is going to result in, that's all DeFi, synthetics, everything else It's all DeFi. And so what Injective is trying to do is be that base layer for that ecosystem, right? And very smart team, very good backers. And so if you look at it from that lens, $3 billion is cheap, right? This thing could easily still run, I'm not even going to say it because you guys are just going to think I'm crazy, but like it has a lot of room to run still. And we're still early, even though it's been pumping like crazy, guys. And even though it's hit new all-time highs, up 1,800% in the past year and at all-time highs right now, it's still a relatively new narrative. And we are early on this channel. You guys are early watching this. The whole masses haven't even come in yet. So Hydro on Injective will make DeFi a thing on Injective. Will thrive together with Mito, in my opinion. They will also airdrop Hydro to Injective stakers, no minimum. And you guys, I'm gonna put the description, the video in the description below to my Injective ecosystem airdrop video. If you haven't seen it yet, go do that and go get yourself some free money. Who doesn't like free money? And this is just Joshy again talking about how he's bullish on this new mainnet that's about to launch, the Volan upgrades. And then, guys, just yesterday, I was telling you this is like, if you're not following me on X, go do that, at Kyle_Chassé, because you would have seen this and now you would be up 70% on your spot assets. Like, because I said I really like Bonk on this nice 20% plus pullback. It was actually over 20%. Especially knowing that Coinbase listing is coming up. I'm loading up more. Who the F sells after Coinbase announcement? Must be suicidal. And I just nailed it, right? We have this huge pullback, right? And this is Bonk right here, just sending, just keeps climbing, like it's like, and this is where I bought in yesterday. Literally, when I made that tweet, I went into the VVIP group that I have, the private group that we have, and I said, guys, I'm longing here, right here, bam. You can see right here, I did open up my long, and you can see where it was. This Bonk, it's now at 370% gains from yesterday. I'm up almost $36,000 on that trade. And you can see that I came into this at 0.01, 75% ago, just in 24 hours, and up 370% on my long here. And you guys would have caught this too if you're in the VVIP group. So if you want to join us in the group, I highly suggest that you do. Everyone in there is crushing it. And we drop all kinds of alpha in there all the time, way before I make these videos, because I just can't make a video throughout the course of the day. So if you want to get into that VVIP group, I highly suggest that you do. It's easy to do. It doesn't cost you anything. The instructions are in the description below. Just go check it out. Come join us. Come hang out. It's freaking awesome in there. Like you would have caught this and you would have been celebrating like I am right now on your crazy, insane, sick bonk gains. And you would have also got bonk. You would have also bought it with us at 0.00003. Almost 6x ago. You'd be up 6x. So if you put in $1, you'd be up $6 right now. And you put up in 1,000, you'd be at 6,000. So sick gains being made here. I just keep adding to this. I think that Bonk, even at $1 billion market, I think Bonk is going to 40 to 80 billion. Because why? Because Pepe and Bonk are the new meme coins of this coming bull run. Dogecoin, I'm not interested in Shiba anymore whatsoever. But Dogecoin, maybe Elon's behind it. But I think that people want something new. They want something more affordable. And Bonk and Pepe are where it's at. Bonk is obviously just exploding. But I also have a big bag of Pepe too. These are my two meme coins that I'm very, very bullish on. There's another one that came out too. Like, I just want to throw it on your radar. This is called Wif. It's called Dog with a Hat. Dog with a Hat. And the website isn't on here right now, so it's quite funny. Dog with hat. I don't know what the website is. Dog with hat. And basically it's a dog with a hat, and then their website is quite funny. But anyway, so you can see that Avalanche too. I want to mention Avalanche real quick. Why do I want to mention Avalanche? Because I think Avalanche is quite expensive here, but it could be very cheap if you look at it from another perspective. So there's a lot of great games. Gunzilla, Off the Grid, Avalon, Shrapnel, that are all building AAA games on Avalanche subnets. And if one of those is able to achieve massive mainstream adoption, like I think Off the Grid will, then it's going to become the de facto blockchain for games, and everyone will start using it. And there's a great token economy built into it. I talked about it on my Avalanche show. I'll link that in the description as well below. And in that case, this thing is still cheap. So it's a bit more high risk at this point. So for that, I've allocated a medium size allocation in my portfolio to it. And let me know, guys, in the comments below also if you want me to make a video about my portfolio, exactly what percentages I have, what I'm holding the most of, what I'm holding the least of, what I sold, this kind of stuff. Happy to do that as well. You can see Avalanche wallets are growing. And just to wrap it up, to show you that everything is flashing here, is that Eric says, Invesco is committing to cash creates only as per their just updated S1 filing. This is for the ETF. Pretty big clue that the SEC has dug in on only letting cash create ETFs out in the first run, which is what we are hearing back channel as well. Still, many were waiting to see if BlackRock could sway SEC on in-kind. So I'm not going to go into what those in-kind versus cash is, but basically it was the last kind of final step that needed to be negotiated between the SEC and the applicants to decide how the withdrawal process and the redemptions work for the ETF. I talk about that as well in my interview with James. I will also link that in the description as well. Make sure that after you guys go watch all my videos, they're all great. I think you guys like them, I think, but I learned so much from making these videos as well. But this is just, so this is it. This is actually the last step for Invesco. I'm pretty sure that you won't see anything after. I think this is the last step, and we know that from all the conversation we've been learning from Eric and James, and that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That's literally it. So I am extremely bullish, and I believe that you should be too. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. I will catch you guys tomorrow in the next one. See you later. Bye-bye.